Samantha and I again negate the resolution that resolved cultural activities, goods, and services should not be treated as solely having commercial value. We believe that the resolution should be negated for two reasons. The first being that it results in protectionist policies that are devastating for the economy, and the second being that free trade actually increases the spread and survival of culture. But first, I'd like to talk about the actor, or agent, of the resolution. The affirmative has indicated in both of their speeches that the government should be the actor of the resolution. However, they have repeatedly failed to indicate which government should be the actor. Should it be the United States federal government? Should it be the government of China? Or the government of France? These are questions that the affirmative never answers. If you are not 100% completely certain about who the actor of the resolution is, you cannot affirm it, because you don't know what you'd be voting in affirmation of. I certainly don't think that allowing the Chinese government or the North Korean government to be defenders of culture is a very good idea, because they'd certainly contribute to the destruction of their own and other people's cultures. The United States government is bogged down in gridlock and partisan politics that prevent them from effectively defending the resolution. So who should be the actor? You cannot vote for the affirmative because they have not properly explained an answer to this question. In fact, having any government regulate the purpose of a cultural good or service would result in the government subjugating minority cultures, like the U.S. federal government has done towards various native cultures, or like the English government did to culture in India when the country was first colonized. So, you also cannot vote in affirmation of the resolution because it would result in governments regulating and controlling culture and prescribing their own values upon it. I'll now re-explain my other arguments as to why the resolution cannot be affirmed. The first reason is that the resolution results in protectionist policies. If the resolution were to be affirmed, it would result in companies like Walmart and McDonald's being regulated and controlled, which means that the resolution isn't just some random protectionist policies, like the example they gave of the U.S. protectionist policy on solar panels towards China. The affirmative would result in protectionist policies towards the companies that are the cornerstone of the global economy, like Disney, Walmart, and McDonald's, because they might interfere with other people's cultures. This would have a devastating effect on the economy, even if it just happened in the United States. If these companies were shut down or severely constrained, hundreds of thousands of people would lose their jobs throughout the globe, resulting in massive amounts of poverty, hundreds of thousands losing their homes, and an even greater amount of people dying from starvation and irrecoverable diseases. The affirmative has conceded that the most important thing for you to be concerned with during this debate is the state of the economy, and ensuring that it still functions properly and effectively. The affirmative has also not presented a reason why the resolution aids the economy in any way, which means there's only a chance that voting in affirmation of the resolution could hurt the economy. You should err on the side of caution and in favor of the economy and vote negative. The second reason that the resolution should not be affirmed is that the free market increases the spread and survival of culture. During globalization, numerous countries and cultures were introduced to new aspects of other cultures. This spreading of culture guarantees that it survives and thrives. Trade is also excellent in that it helps provide jobs for minorities and women in societies, which helps them go up the social ladder and helps prevent some of the disparities that society inflicts upon them. For example, many women and other poor people in countries would not have jobs if companies like Walmart, McDonald's, or other corporations did not give them these jobs. These jobs help increase the economic situations of millions of individuals in different societies and social situations. I'd now like to respond to some of the arguments that my opponent has made in her last speech. First, my opponent has indicated that solely economic focus results in a crowd-out effect, in which people no longer focus on the value that culture has outside its economic value. However, this isn't true. I've already indicated why the free market allows culture to spread and thrive. Another reason this isn't true is that the people who participate in these cultures will always participate in these cultures. For example, the reason that native cultures haven't died out is because there are people in the native cultures who still want to practice and participate in these cultures. The reasons that various religions, which are definitively part of different cultures, are still spreading throughout the globe is because there are millions of people who still want to participate in these various religious activities. There isn't a chance that culture will ever be crowded out as long as people want to practice their cultures. This also responds to their arguments about local cultures being crowded out, and their arguments about American culture being the only thriving one. The affirmative has also presented the argument that without some form of protection, various smaller markets would be crowded out. However, as I already talked about, Protectionist policies are worse than allowing some smaller markets to no longer exist, especially when these protectionist policies would be on such a large amount of very important corporations. Also, the free market economy ensures that the best companies and industries will survive. There will obviously be some companies that don't make it, but that just means that they haven't innovated enough to keep up in the world. This issue is also inevitable because people will continue to participate in the free market anyways, so companies and industries will go under inevitably. The affirmative has also presented the argument that an economic crisis would not cause a collapse. While this may be true, it doesn't respond to the point that an economic crisis would still be devastating for millions of individuals. As I talked about previously in this speech, there would be hundreds of thousands of people forced into poverty who lose their homes, who fall ill with irrecoverable diseases, and who die of starvation. Even if the economy doesn't completely collapse, these protectionist policies would result in economic devastation for millions of individuals throughout the globe. And the most important thing for you to be concerned with is protecting the economy, no matter what anyways, which is still a conceded argument by the affirmative. In conclusion, we believe that the resolution should be negated because it would result in protectionist policies, and because the free market is the best way to ensure that cultural values thrive in the current interconnected globe. We have also argued that the actor or agent of the resolution is never really explained very well, which means that you cannot affirm the resolution. We have also indicated that the economy is the most important thing for you to worry about, which is a conceded argument, which is especially important since cultural values will inevitably exist and thrive because of the free market. Thus, I urge a ballot in negation of the resolution. Thank you.